Alright, hey guys, King of Charmans here. Alright, so I have this sweet 5-0 for you. It features Medicham, a team with Medicham XL, because Medicham XL is an absolute destroyer. And it has the Pelipper Venusaur engine in the back. Now, the thing about my Medicham, it has Ice Punch, Power Up Punch. If you have Psychic, Psychic Ice Punch works fine, or Psychic Power Punch. It's really up to you. I like Power Punch just because I pretend I have Psychic, and then I'll bait with it, and then hopefully it goes through. Now, there are some scenarios not having Psychic actually costs me the match, so just keep that in mind. Again, Psychic Ice Punch works just fine. So as you see here, this team is very safe and consistent. Venusaur and Pelipper do an insane amount of damage. Not too much bulk. Well, just because Pelipper and Venusaur aren't super bulky, and its coverage is kind of null. But this pretty much just takes advantage of like the pattern of meta nowadays, where Bastion's in the lead, Ossagoon's in the lead, and even if I do get an Altaria, I can beat Altaria in the 2-shield with Ice Punch. So as long as I have Ice Punch, I can take out Altaria. So as you see here, this team is a pretty high threat score, but again, this team just takes advantage of the patterns that pretty much are of this current meta. It's a really good team. The G-Fisk Pelipper Venusaur team still works. This is just a spin-off of that with Medicham XL in the lead, because Medicham XL is an absolute destroyer. Alright, so here's this sweet 5-0 with this super meta team that actually does really well. So the thing I have, as you see, Medicham has Ice Punch and Power Punch. So theoretically you should have Psychic, but I have it for a specific reason. So as you see here, we get Obstagoon into my Medicham, and we beat in this lead, and I can already tell this is the double charm team. So yeah, with Venusaur in the back, you pretty much beat the double charm team really hard. That's why I like Medicham with Venusaur in the back, just because, again, if you catch this team, you pretty much auto-win. So all I'm going to do is just straight Frenzy Plant, and then just just go down. Again, with Medicham, you theoretically want Psychic, but I like how you can rev up, and in Ice Punch, there are certain scenarios where you can win. As you see here, we break both shields of Venusaur. I'm going to shield because I could already tell this is the Obstagoon. This is likely Obstagoon Double Charm. Like, the chances of it being Obstagoon Double Charm are, like, huge. I want to block this Ice Beam because I don't want to eat it because I will die. I'm going to go over I'm going to go, like, I fired this, like, kind of at the wrong interval. Because, like I said, I went over a little bit on the tapping, but you know what? This Frenzy Plant should kill. I should be able to get to another Frenzy Plant before I go down to this Obstagoon. If it's Obstagoon that comes in. Yes, there you go. There's Obstagoon. So, because counter is resisted, hopefully I get to another one. And because I let that charm through, I did not. So, that was terrible planning by my part. I send in Medicham because Medicham should do just fine against either Night Slash or Cross Chop. Unless it's Obstagoon Boost, I'm in not any real danger. Plus, I still have shield advantage. As you see, there is an Alola Ninetales, and it has Charm, so it is Obstagoon Double Charm. We're going to do fine here. I should be able to just Hurricane this Alola Ninetales down. I will shield, and then I should just be able to punch that Obstagoon to death. Again, with Medicham, the reason I don't have Psychic is because I like how you could rev up with Power Punch. But I've noticed there's a lot of scenarios where, like, not having Psychic actually screws me over, but Power Up Punch does really well against the Steel typings, and if you have a revved up Medicham, even if counter is resisted, it does really well. As you see, all I'm going to do is just straight Weather Ball here, and then Medicham going Medicham, and that's pretty much GG's. Plus, again, I really like the Medicham in the lead with Venusaur in the back, because you do pretty much destroy the Obstagoon Double Charm team. I still don't know why this is viable. Obstagoon Double Charm is a terrible team, because if you see a fighter lead and they have, for example, the Medicham Bastiodon team, if Medicham's in the lead, you're kind of dead, because Bastiodon destroys, like, all Charmers. Practically destroys all Charmers. As you see here, unless they have like a Hyper Beam, I'm perfectly fine. But as you see here, there should be a Night Slash. They're praying for the boost, and I am correct. And we just punch it down, and that's GG's. But I like Power Punch, again, just because I like revving up with it, and if you get the bait with it, it's amazing. I love it. It's hilarious. But that's why I'm Medicham with Ice. If you're used to Ice Punch Psychic or Power Punch Psychic, just use that moveset. It works equally as well. There are some scenarios, though, where I like Ice Punch and how it works out. For match 2, we get another legend. Jeez, these battles are like these battles are super sweaty. Oh man. Okay, so we have Melmetal into Medicham. So this is a great lead for us. And this is why I like Medicham, because Medicham XL is a boss. And we see a Deoxys defense. I like seeing what Mon comes in before I switch out, because if this is a Hypno, this is actually a terrible idea. And you can tell because I've done it before. So as you see, Deoxys defense will do heavy damage with Psycho Boost. So I'm going to let the first one go, because even if they do Psycho Boost me, them being debuffed puts more pressure on them. So I'm going to guess this is either a Rock Slide or a Psycho Boost. That's why I don't shield the first one. If it's a Psycho Boost, it's going to suck, but it's okay. And it happens to be a Thunderbolt. My opponent tries to bait here, and then I can probably guess that they're going to try to Psycho Boost me down. So I'm going to fire this Frenzy Plant because I don't want to eat Psycho Boost damage, and even then, Melmetal doesn't have a super strong matchup against Venusaur. Yeah, I resist everything, however, one Frenzy Plant will do a ton of damage against a Melmetal. So, what I'm hoping to do is just pressure shields or do a lot of chip damage on this Melmetal. As you see, Melmetal comes back in. The Giant Lugnut comes back to assert its presence, and it's actually still pretty good in Season 7, which is really nuts. But as you see here, I'm just going to fire Frenzy Plants. This is still going to do heavy damage. Poof. See, Melmetal is really good, but like in Great League, it's not that thick. So one Frenzy Plant literally does half of its HP. I'm going to let this one go, and then I'm just going to punch it down with Medicham, which is the play. Again, the Giant Lugnut I like a lot. However, there's a lot of things in this meta that could beat it, like Medicham. As you see here, I should have... Okay, so this is where I kind of jack up. So, I'm going to pretend I have Psychic and then fire. So, this is what I'll do. I'll play with Medicham. I'll pretend I have Psychic and then I will fire. So, I think this is kind of a mistake because I'm like, oh, if they don't fall for it, then I'm like, oh, this is kind of bad. So, here we go. They don't fall for it. Theoretically, what I should have done is just switch into Pelipper right away because Pelipper actually beats Azumarill straight Hurricane. So, that would have been a better play than me doing this. As you see, I'm power punching to death, and I'm kind of in trouble because I'm like, okay, so you know what? Medicham can beat you down shields, but like can take out the Melmetal back, but I will now switch into Pelipper, and then I'm going... It's... The thing about... If you look at the bunny, we've chipped away enough to where, like, I can go to a Hurricane and then just Weather Ball. So, I'm gonna just do as much chip as humanely possible against this Azumarill and hope that we can get the W from here. As you see here, we get the Melmetal that comes back in, so that what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire this Weather Ball. Hopefully it does some damage. Hopefully it goes through because, like, okay, perfect. Because if that didn't go through, it would suck a lot because Melmetal has actually a really strong matchup against my Burb. And you still have 2 shields. So all I'm going to do at this point is just Weather Ball down. However, either way, I think I would have been okay because, like, even though I'm not doing super effective damage, I still have a full-on Medicham, and if this Azumarill doesn't have Play Rough, I would have been fine. So it's perfectly okay. So as you see here, we're just going to Weather Ball away, and my opponent's like, wait, hold on. Like, what did I do? Like, wait a minute, my Azumarill can't take... Yeah, your Azumarill can't tank that much, bro. I'm going to shield this and attempt to just get as much Weather Ball as I can, because even if Azumarill does have Play Rough, my Medicham is still in the green, so it's pretty much GG's from here. But again, I kind of did a little bit of a mistake because if you saw that Medicham, then like, yeah, Medicham doesn't, I mean, Pelipper doesn't do well against Melmetal just because of the Thunderbolts doing, I mean, Thundershock's doing double super effective damage because water and flying. Along with that, Rock Slide sucks a lot. So my opponent would have been better off to have Melmetal just try to Rock Slide me to death than the other way around. But that's GG's. So we go on to the next match. Here's the third match. And we get a veteran, which is still, like, I'm still trying... I'm actually veteran already, but, like, if you look over here, like, we're, like, you're, like, it's still... We're good. We get Medicham into a Stunfisk, which is great for us. So I'm already predicting, is this Medicham, Pelipper... I mean, is this the Stunfisk, Pelipper? Yep, and there's probably Venusaur in the back. So I switch into my Venusaur, and I'm going to go straight Frenzy Plant. So I'm going to Frenzy Plant... I'm going to get to my Frenzy Plant here. My opponent's probably going to... likely going to shield this because Pelipper actually doesn't have a bad matchup against Venusaur as long as you can bait well. As you see here, I'm going to try to break both shields here, and a Wing Attack went through. But I got a Vine Whip through, so I got my energy back, which is great because I want us to be in even scenarios before I let it go. So as you see here, they do fire a Weather Ball. I will fall for it. However, I want that to happen because I'd rather be in the 2-0s. They get another Weather Ball off. This sucks. I'm going to let it go. Actually, no, I do shield it, but I'm going to let it go after this. So I'm going to fire my Frenzy Plant. My opponent might elect to let their Pelipper go. But at this rate, Pelipper possibly can farm me down. The reason why they were able to get that Weather Ball is because that wing attack went through, which kind of sucks. As you see here, they're going to fire another Weather Ball, which is very smart by my opponent. So I likely have a Venusaur and a G-Fist to contend with, and I lost Switch. So this kind of sucks. So what I'm going to do here is I will send in my own Pelipper, and what I'm going to do is I am going to try and get as much energy as I can. I resist a Weather Ball, so I'm going to try to get to 2 Weather Balls. So my Pelipper can beat the... So my Pelipper can... There's a lot of things I can still do here. I can try to get as much energy as I can over here and try to take out this Pelipper. As you see here, I get up to 2 Weather Balls. With this extra energy, I can hopefully take out the Stunfisk. I actually undercharge here because my plan here is to get a little bit of energy, and I managed to get an extra wing attack through, which is great. So that was just me being really fancy. But what I wanted to do was get enough energy to take out, to possibly get to 2 Weather Balls, because 2 Water Weather Balls will actually KO G-Fisk here. Well, actually, it won't quite KO, but it'll get close. As you see here, I try to get to the second one, and I do get to the second one, which is absolutely great, because I'm like, I need as much damage as I can against this thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to switch into Medicham, I believe, and I'm going to try to punch this down without it getting a move off. And I almost do. I'm unsuccessful. However, I get a Tropius. This is still really good because, fun fact, Medicham actually beats Tropius in the zeros. So I can, especially with an energy lead, I'm going to get to, yes, they will be able to get to an Aerial Ace, but I can get to 2 Ice Punches, and that's GG's. Again, if you can get to 2 Ice Punches, you can take out Tropius. So it's it's not bad at all. It's it's really, really good. So this is why I love Ice Punch Pup. Preferably Psychic is a better coverage, but I like having Pup just for that extra rev. As you see that, revving up and getting those extra counters off. As you see, we are able to take out the Tropius, and that's pretty much GG's. That was really good. Even if it was Venusaur, I would have been pretty comfortable there because 2 Ice Punches can take out Venusaur. So there was still more play, but as you see, we came out with the W. Got really lucky because I almost lost that switch to that Losing switch to Venusaur was really, really rough, but because we were just because we had Ice Punch, we were able to come out with the W. That's why I like Ice Punch and Power Punch. It's just so good. So we get to the next match, and we get a Medicham into an Empoleon. This is great for us. I don't know why I see an Empoleon here. This is kind of strange. So we get an Empoleon. I'm expecting my opponent to switch, and they switch it to a Toxicroak. So I switch into Venusaur here, so this is kind of a mistake. I should have switched into Pelipper, because Pelipper has a great matchup against Toxicroak. And now I'm thinking, wow, I kind of ooped here, because like I said, Pelipper is actually better in this scenario. But this is okay, because as you see here, if a Toxicroak takes a Frenzy Plant, it does not like it. Toxicroak is so squishy that it will take a ton of damage against Frenzy Plant, which is why I love Venusaur. But as you see here, we're just going to eat this move. Well, actually, no, I do shield it because I'm scared, because if this is a Sludge Bomb, it does heavy damage. I'd rather farm it down and have a ton of energy to throw in the back, because the Empoleon still has to hit us with a move. And I want to keep all this energy. So that's what I was thinking, because I was like, oh, wait, there's Empoleon. So we get Empoleon. And then now we're just going to Frenzy Plant down, try to break as much shield as we can. We're going to let it go if it gets to a Drill Peck, because we should get to 1 Frenzy Plant, but I'm expecting a Drill Peck shortly after this. So we're going to get Drill Peck to death, and then I will send in my Medicham. As you see, we break both shields, so now we come out with shield advantage. Pelipper is going to have a shield. Medicham's going to line up against this Emperor Penguin, and hopefully we can take the match. So again, I should have probably thrown in my Pelipper, but we'll see if that was a mistake or not. So I'm going to set, as you see here, it was a mistake because we got a Clefable, but this is still okay because, yeah, so it would have been better to have my Venusaur against the Clefable, but this is okay because we should be able to get to Hurricane. I don't believe this KOs. I think it gets close, but we pretty much have this match in the bag. We still have a shield, we still got Medicham, and that's pretty much going to be GG's. Okay, as you see, it doesn't quite KO. 1 HP and a Clefable does happen, and then we could possibly... Well, they just quit out, but that's GG's to my opponent. Again, that was again, I should have switched in, but, it worked out anyways, because I would still come out with shield advantage. So the way I did it still works, so I was like, alright, cool! Now for our 5th match, as you see here, we get another veteran, and like I said, I'm veteran now, but it's really rough. Go Battle League is rough these worlds, just because everything is allowed, everything's super meta, and we lose the lead! Yay! Okay, so I'm gonna try to be really fancy here. I switch into Pelipper, and I kind of jack up because as you see there, like, it was a little late. But this is okay, because, like, I'm like, oh, why would you switch into Amok? Because the thing about it is like, Amok is way slower than Pelipper, so we might be able to take switch here. So the thing is, what I like is that, yeah, because, like, Amok is actually really slow because of Snarl. Well, and Pelipper does take only 5 wing attacks to get to a Weather Ball. We're vibing here. I enjoy this a lot. We should be able to grab both shields and possibly farm down in this scenario. So as you see here, I managed to get a wing attack through, which is great for us. We want as much energy as we can get because we know they have a Pelipper. So what do you have in the back? As you see, a Dark Pulse will go off. I'm going to get to my second Weather Ball, and hopefully they do not shield this. Well, they're probably going to shield to preserve their energy and try to get me to the zeros. I missed 2 bubbles here, which is kind of meh, but like, I'm just like, alright, you know, I still have control of this match. We managed to get the second shield, which is great. I'm going to shield this because it's going to be a Dark Pulse, but that's fine. I should be able to just farm down from this point and then decide what I want to do from here. They Sludge Wave, which is great because I think that KOs. I'm not too sure, or it does heavy damage. So as you see here, we can get the farm down, which is great. And then I should be able to Hurricane or Weather Ball, whatever's in the back. So let's see what we got. We come back with the Pelipper, and I should be able to get to a Hurricane. Even if this is a Weather Ball doesn't kill, because there's no way they're at Hurricane energy, because they switched out right away. So as you see here, this is likely a Weather Ball, and it is. I'm holding my Hurricane a little bit, though, because I don't want them to switch out. That's why I fire within animation. I let them get that extra one in, but that's fine because my Hurricane goes off. I don't want them to catch this Hurricane. Hurricane goes off, and this Pelipper is almost dead. So as you see here, I'm going to just wing attack down, and I have a healthy Medicham and a Venusaur for the back. So you're pretty much dead. I get a Deoxys defense. This is fine because I still have Venusaur and I still have Medicham. This is pretty much GG's. 2 full Mons against a Deoxys defense. There is no way this DD can take back this game unless it has energy advantage. As you see, my opponent just quits out because they know it's over, and it's GG's. As you see, that was a really sweet 5-0. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Again, I like this team a lot. It gave me a really sweet 5-0, but it's nothing too fancy. It uses the Pelipper Venusaur engine with a Medicham in the lead. I like it a lot. Did really well for me in this, and I'm currently doing really well with it even to this day. So if you want to try it out, again, really good team. Pelipper's your safe switch, Venusaur's the closer, and that combination does well against a lot of back row patterns. Medicham is an overpowered fighter, and here it is for Go Battle League. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed these sets. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed these battles. It was really stressful because, honestly, like, I don't like using super meta. But nowadays, seeing that I've done over a year without using a super meta team, and I've only made teams of my own creation to make legend / rank 10, I think I'm good. But as you see here, this is just how strong meta is. Meta does well because in Pokemon Go, when you have so many things that are allowed, it's almost like if you don't use meta, you're automatically at a disadvantage. Even if you're using anti-meta, that's just how oppressive top meta Pokemon are. Anyways, I hope you guys are doing well for your Go Battle League sets. Don't stress about making legend. As someone that's made legend, doing probably like with making their own teams or making a team of their own, like making teams that are proven to work, breakingpeople.com, and then not only making legend with something like that, it's really hard. So use whatever you wish. Use whatever powers you have to make legend, because doing it in a different way or doing it in a way that you like, a unique way like the way I'm doing it, is just way too hard. So save yourself the time, save yourself the effort, make a super meta team, and just run through and make legend, because that's all that really matters. If you make it, you make it. Me, I just don't really care nowadays because, like I said, I don't like making legend this way, but like, it's, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? Anyways, I hope you guys like these battles. Again, please like and subscribe. Good luck on your Battle League sets. I really hope you guys are doing well. If you're not legend already, don't worry about it. I'm still climbing, and I'm not really worried about it. Like, I see it as, since I've already made it, I don't really need to make it again. So, at least that's how I see it. But if it is your goal, hopefully your goal is going well. And good luck on your Go Battle League sets again, and I will see you guys on the next video.